Hello and welcome back to Film Smart. In this episode, we're going to discuss what we know about Star Wars Episode 7 now. A year ago, I did a similar video. We had a lot less information than we do now, but now we at least have a cast and there has been a release of a trailer. Last year, there was a lot of speculation on whether or not the original cast would be a part of this film. That has now been cleared up. We know Harrison Ford is going to be playing a role, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca, Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2, Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO. We don't know if Billy D. Williams, who played Lando Calrissian, will be back, but I would be surprised if he wouldn't be at least in a cameo appearance in this film. And if not, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in Episode 8 or 9 or Rogue One or some type of role. But who knows? We also know members of the new cast. And these are main people, so I'm not going to go down on everybody on the IMDb page. But I'm going to say the new cast, we have Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaacs, Lupita Nyong'o, Max von Sydow, Domhnall Gleeson, Gwendolyn Christie, John Boyega, Andy Serkis. I think our two leads as far as the new cast are Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. John Boyega is the man in the stormtrooper suit at the beginning of the trailer who scares everybody. And then we have Daisy Ridley, who rode on that I don't know what you call it, we'll say it's like I would call it a speedster, but it's looks kind of slow, so a slowster we'll call it for right now. She rode on that. Oscar Isaacs, he was the one in the fighter jet, so I don't know how big their roles will be, because you also have to think about the balancing with the original cast. It's hard to say how big John Boyega and Daisy Ridley's. I will say their roles will definitely grow as the franchise moves on, because these guys are the male and female leads. So I think eventually their roles are going to become as big as Harrison Ford's and Mark Hamill's and Carrie Fisher. So eventually I think they'll grow. I don't know how big they're going to be, because for all we know, the original cast can be in all three films, or they could get killed off in this one, or they could just fly away to another galaxy. And it's very hard to say how these guys are going to fit in, because like last year, we are still in a cloud of mystery. We have no idea. All of this is speculation, and I think another person who's going to play a big role, two people I think of the new cast who are going to play huge roles in the future, are going to be Lupita Nyong'o and Adam Driver. As far as the younger folks, Lupita Nyong'o obviously just won an Oscar last year. I think she's going to play some part of the Sith realm somewhere. I don't know what they're going to call it in the seventh one. Maybe it'll still be that. I don't know. But I think she'll be definitely holding a red lightsaber. Adam Driver, I think, also will probably be a part of the Sith. And if not, I think he'll probably be like maybe a crooked personality, kind of in between good and evil. So it's you can't really pinpoint him. Max von Sydow, I think, is going to be a Sith Lord, or something along those lines, whatever they're going to call it. He's going to be part of the evil empire. I don't know. Domhnall Gleeson, I don't know. He's done a lot of work in Hollywood. So I don't know how big of a role or small of a role. He seems like too big of an actor to not have a substantial role in this film. But I'm just running through these names. It's hard to say where he's going to fit in. Gwendolyn Christie, who knows where she'll be? I don't know. And then we know Andy Serkis. He was the voice of the man in the trailer, who is talking about there has been an awakening. Can you feel it, or whatever? And so I don't know what he's going to be doing in this film. I would imagine it would have something to do with CGI, because he played Caesar, he did Gollum, he did King Kong. He's the king of CGI. I mean, he's going to be in Avengers: Age of Ultron, and I think probably he's playing Claw, Ulysses Claw. And I probably will be a villain in Black Panther, which will lead to some CGI if he's going to play Claw. So we'll see what Andy Serkis does in this film. I have no idea. And then with Peter Mayhew played Chewbacca, Kenny Baker, R2D2, Anthony Daniels, C3PO. They're going to have the same roles they always kind of had. They're going to be kind of the funny parts. They're going to have some funny one-liners. I think C3PO specifically, and he's always funny with R2D2, and then Chewie will always he's always Chewie. And we know John Boyega, again, he is the stormtrooper at the beginning, which leads me to believe that if John Boyega is that stormtrooper at the beginning, that he starts out kind of, I don't know, evil, but he starts out working for the bad side. That doesn't necessarily mean he's evil. It just means he's working for the bad side. And I think he'll be pulled to the good side. Daisy Ridley, she's the writer on this, whatever you want to call those things. Who knows what she'll be doing. But I think eventually her and John Boyega will be meeting up and trying to fight the evil empire. And this is basically all we can get from the trailer and the cast. There's not a lot of information. The movie is still 9 months away. I can't stress how far away that is. However, with a movie like this, you're going to try to grab at everything you can. So here's a little bit more speculation. We have the guy walking in the snowy forest at the end of the trailer. There's been speculation that maybe that's Mark Hamill, which I thought was surprising because he's Luke Skywalker. He's good, and he has that. It almost looks like an electric lightsaber, where it's not even a laser as much as it's like the volts of electricity mixed with laser. It looks really cool, and then it has that kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a sword. Those ends, almost like a breaker, so that you can protect your hand. So I don't know. Maybe it's Mark Hamill. Maybe he's been corrupted. Maybe he's pretending to be. I doubt it's him. I feel more that it's probably Max von Sydow. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably him. Because it looked kind of like it was an older person. The way they were hunched over. So I would, if I had to put money on it, I'd say it's Max von Sydow. I doubt it would be Mark Hamill. That'd be weird. And then in the flying the Millennium Falcon, I feel like that's the original cast along with the new cast. And that also brings me to the fact that I think Daisy Ridley, and possibly Adam Driver, and along with Oscar Isaacs, will be playing Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher's children. I don't know if all three of them will be. I don't even know if two of them or one of them will be. But if I had to put money on it, I would say Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaacs will probably be playing their children. And we know Oscar Isaacs was the one in the fighter jet, so he's going to be working with the rebels, obviously. So he's going to be kind of coming at a different end than John Boyega, which might bring some kind of a blockade between them. I think it's going to cause some drama. So I'm really looking forward to how they kind of make that, and I'm really interested in how they're going to deal with these older characters, how their roles are going to be. Are they going to be looked at as heroes, or have they been corrupted? Have they changed? Do they not care anymore? Are they gone? I mean, who knows where they're going to be 30 years later? Because we have to remember this movie is taking place 30 years later. Pretty much that's all we have. We saw some redesign of the stormtrooper suits and their masks. They basically look the same, but they've kind of modernized slightly. Let's hope none of them hit their head on any door panels again. We know that this is not having really much to do with Episode 7, but we do know that J.J. Abrams will not be directing Episode 8. We know Rian Johnson has gotten that job. We know that J.J. Abrams will not be directing a spinoff. It will be Gareth Edwards, who directed, Godzilla and Monsters. So J.J. Abrams has been speculated to direct Episode 9. I don't know if any of this is true, but if it is true, I think we have a lot to look forward to as far as Episode 7. That means that Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are really happy with what they see with Star Wars and wanting to keep J.J. Abrams on for the 9th film. And I like the idea of him taking a break instead of jumping right into it for the 8th one again. You know, I like the idea of bringing in a different flavor for the 8th one and then bringing it all back together full circle for the 9th film. So I think that's a good sign. But again, Sony was really happy with Amazing Spider-Man 2. Then they saw the reviews for it. So, it's you have to be careful. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll direct it. Maybe he won't. I'm just hoping that we get a good one this time. And we know, like, Rogue Nation, that's Mission Impossible. Rogue One, with Felicity Jones, and is being directed by Gareth Edwards, will be released, I think, only a year and a half later, after Episode 7. So we'll see how that fits into the overall universe. I don't know if that means... because we really have no idea of what this is going to be. A lot of people have been speculating that it's going to take place before the creation of the first Death Star, like between episode 3 and 4. I have no idea, but I think that's an interesting story. I'm open to prequels because these are characters that we don't know, like Felicity Jones. I have no idea who these people are, so it kind of leaves some suspense on whether or not they survive. It's not like when you see The Hobbit, and you know that Ian McKellen is going to be fine by the end of the movie, and you know that Martin Freeman's going to be fine at the end of the movie. You don't know if these people are going to survive, and you don't know what's going to happen. So I think that brings some good tension, bringing in a prequel characters that you haven't met before. So who knows if Boba Fett will be in it or not. And we know that I think Episode 8 comes out only 6 months after Rogue One, which is interesting. So they're trying to stagger these really close together. So if that, they probably announce another spin-off coming out only 6 months after Episode 8, and then Episode 9, 6 months after that. I don't know how quickly they're planning to do these, but we'll see. We also know that all of Star Wars video games, TV shows, movies, books are all part of canon now. Like the old ones that have been written and the video games and everything, those are non-canon. Those are just kind of out of the universe stories, like Elseworld stories, I guess you could call them. But now everything that's being published and released, video game, book-wise, TV-wise, is all part of the overall canon and universe of Star Wars that we have now. So like the show Star Wars Rebels, the video games like Battlefront that are going to be coming out, these are all part of the overarch and canon of this universe. So that's interesting. I think that might bite Disney in the butt because they're going to have to make sure everything's connected. It's kind of the same reason why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is garbage, because they have to make sure that what they're doing is working with the rest of the overall Marvel universe, and sometimes that means they have to also mention things that happen in those movies, constantly, like when they were tied with Captain America the Winter Soldier, very reliant on the other movies. So I just hope this doesn't bite them in the butt, because we want to have good stories and good creativity without it having to be beholden to another story. It's kind of nice to have your own little isolation. So we'll see how this works out. I think if it doesn't work out, we're going to see the end of this Star Wars canon. Something's got to give. So I think if this really happens, they're going to probably just make the movies canon and try to make us forget. But I don't know. They look like they're really into this. So I think they know what they're doing. I think Kathleen Kennedy knows what she's doing. I think everybody at Disney knows what they're doing. So I think there's no reason to not be excited for this film. But again, we don't know a lot, even though it is a year after I made this last video. All we know is the cast, and we've seen some shots from the trailer, but not a lot of information has been released. So that's about it. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment. Look at our blog. We'll be posting some things, probably some Star Wars articles. And as always, stay film smart.